Next topic mentioned in your syllabus is E1 and E2 reactions or elimination reactions. Okay, E1 and E2 reactions are two different mechanisms of elimination reactions. So here today in today's class we are going to discuss what is an elimination reaction, what happens in elimination reaction, and what is mechanism of elimination reactions, and what is evidence for these elimination reactions. Okay, so first, uh, 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 elimination reaction. What is elimination reaction? So elimination reaction is an important means for synthesizing alkenes. Okay, so using elimination reaction, we can synthesize alkene. You all know what are alkenes, right? Alkenes are compounds with carbon-carbon double bond. So here we can see the product as a carbon-carbon double bonded compound, that is alkene. Okay, so elimination reaction is an important way for synthesis of alkenes. Okay, so what happens in elimination? In elimination reaction, uh, uh, two fragments of the starting molecule. Starting molecule is the reagent. Say this is the substrate. Okay, we call starting molecules as substrates. Okay, so in during elimination reaction, two fragments in substrates will lose from adjacent carbon atoms. Okay, so here the fragments are lost from adjacent carbon atoms only. Adjacent carbon atoms అంటే పక్క పక్కనే ఉన్న కార్బన్ ఆటమ్స్. సో పక్క పక్కనే ఉన్న కార్బన్ ఆటమ్స్ నుంచి టూ ఫ్రాగ్మెంట్స్ లూజ్ అవుతాయి. లూజ్ అయి they give carbon carbon double bonded compounds or multiple bond compounds. Okay, so on one elimination you get alkene, and if this elimination is repeated again, then you'll get alkyne. Two double bonds, two pi bonds are formed, and we'll get alkyne, right? So elimination reaction is an important way to synthesize alkenes, and during elimination reaction, two fragments from adjacent carbon atoms in a substrate will lose to give a multiple bond compound known as alkene. So this is the general format of elimination reaction. So when you look at this example, the fragment Y and fragment Z, these two are losing from the starting compound, that is substrate. Okay, so this is lost as YZ. Okay, so this is lost as YZ, and after the reaction we observe formation of a multiple bond compound, that is a compound with carbon carbon double bond, or a compound with pi bonds. Okay, so this is the elimination reaction. Okay, so elimination reaction is a reaction in which fragments from two adjacent carbon atoms in a substrate get lost to give a multiple bond compound or an alkene. Okay, so this is known as elimination reaction. Okay, and dehydrohalogenation is widely used method for synthesis of alkenes. Okay, so here elimination reaction we are discussing about dehydrohalogenation. Okay, elimination reaction, the best example for elimination reaction is dehydrohalogenation. Okay, so you know what is meant by dehydrohalogenation. Already we have discussed while discussing the preparations of alkenes, right? D means removal, okay, minus, and hydro means hydrogen. Okay, removal of hydrogen, and halogen means removal of halogen, right? So dehydrohalogenation is nothing but removal of a hydrogen halide. Okay, so dehydrohalogenation is one of the best examples for elimination reaction. Okay, the general reaction of dehydrohalogenation look like this. When alkyl halides were treated with a base. What is meant by base? Base ante enti? Any one of you define the base? What is meant by base? Yeah, a proton acceptor. Okay, base that contain a lone pair of electrons. Okay, Lewis bases are those that contain a lone pair of electrons, and they act as proton acceptors. Okay, here the function of base is to abstract a proton from here. Okay, so ఇక్కడ హైడ్రోజన్ ఉంది కదా, ఈ హైడ్రోజన్ ని అబ్స్ట్రాక్ట్ చేయడమే ఈ బేస్ ఫంక్షన్ అన్నమాట. Okay, so a base or the substances that are electron rich and they act as proton acceptors. అవి proton acceptors కింద యాక్ట్ చేస్తాయి. And in this reaction the function of base is to abstract proton. Okay, so from alkyl halide the base will abstract beta hydrogen. Okay, so in last class I've said to you what is alpha carbon, what is beta carbon, and what is beta hydrogen, right? So alpha carbon is the carbon atom to which a functional group is attached. Okay, in alkyl halides functional group is halogen. Okay, so halogen is functional group, and the carbon atom to which functional group is attached is known as alpha carbon. Okay, so this is alpha carbon. Okay, and the carbon atom adjacent to alpha carbon ki pakkana unna carbon ఉంటుంది కదా, దాన్ని beta carbon అంటాం. So this is beta carbon, and the hydrogens or beta carbon is known as beta hydrogen. So this hydrogen is known as beta hydrogen. Okay, so beta hydrogens are those that are present on carbon atom adjacent to carbon atom attached with functional group. Okay, so in a dehydrohalogenation reaction base will abstract beta hydrogen, and simultaneously we observe shift of bonded pair of electrons between beta carbon and beta hydrogen to between alpha and beta carbons. Okay, and simultaneously a halogen is lost. Okay, this is how the dehydrohalogenation reaction takes place. Okay, so during dehydrohalogenation the function of base is to abstract hydrogen, and during the process of hydrogen abstraction we observe shift of bonded pair of electrons between carbon ki hydrogen ki madhyalo una bond undi kada, a bond lo 2 electrons ఉంటాయి, and those 2 electrons will move between alpha carbon and beta carbon. Rendu alpha carbon ki beta carbon ki madhya ki move avutayi, and they form a pi bond, this pi bond. Okay, and already we have one sigma bond. పాటు వెళ్ళిపోతుంది. Okay, so this is the overall reaction. Okay, base will abstract hydrogen, and that is lost as conjugate acid. A base ఉంది కదా, base protonate అయిన తర్వాత వచ్చేది acid, దాన్ని conjugate acid అంటాం. So base is lost as conjugate acid, and halogen is lost with bonded pair of electrons as halide ion. Okay, and we observe formation of carbon-carbon double bond, that is alkene. Okay, so this is general reaction of dehydrohalogenation. Okay, and in this halogen is known as leaving group. ఇక్కడ alkyl halides లో halogen ni leaving group అంటాం. Why we call it leaving group is because that is lost along with bonded pair of electrons. Halogen bonded pair of electrons తో పాటు వెళ్ళిపోతుంది కాబట్టి దీన్ని leaving group అంటాం. We shall discuss about leaving groups in detail in alkyl halides. Okay, next unit lo alkyl halides ఉంటాయి. There we shall discuss about these leaving groups in detail. Okay, so you just remember here it is not much important about the properties of leaving group. Okay, so there we shall discuss about that. Leaving group is the group that is left along with bonded pair of electrons during dehydrohalogenation. So here halogen is the group that is lost along with bonded pair of electrons. That is why halogen is leaving group here. Okay, and halogen is an example of good leaving group. Okay, you remember this point. Halogen is example of good leaving group. Why halogen is good leaving group? We shall discuss that in SN1 reaction, as substitution reactions, both in SN1 and SN2. Okay, and this reaction is also known as 1,2 elimination because the fragments, 2 fragments are eliminated from adjacent carbon atom, 1 and 2 carbon atoms. That is why this reaction is also known as 1,2 eliminations. Okay, now so this is a general format of elimination reaction and a general reaction of an elimination. Okay,